Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin and I am going to go over my purchases from the third quarter of 2022 and give some reviews, let you guys know what I have finished up, what I have possibly already repurchased, and what I will definitely pass on. I do have two other installments of this type of video where I go over my purchases from last year, and I will make sure to have them linked up in the eye and also my playlist linked down below. I did pull out as many products as I could to show you. There are a couple that either I used up last year and I've already recycled and I haven't repurchased, but pretty much I have a large majority of either the packaging or the replacement item to show to you guys. So let me do a quick count real quick and let me see how many things I purchased in the third quarter. So I purchased a total of 27 items in the third quarter of last year. So let's go ahead and get into the reviews. So we can start with my first purchase of July last year, and that was at Ulta. And I did pick up one of the Ava NYC therapy session hair masks. This is basically what I use for conditioner. So this one is actually the empty container of the one that I'm using up right now. So this is of course what the packaging looks like, but I did use that one up last year. I actually, I went to Ulta today and I was very good. I did not buy anything. I went into TJ Maxx and I went into Ulta. But Ulta, they were having issues with their system so that they could only take cash payments, and I never carry cash. So that kind of saved me, but I do need to repurchase one of these again because the current one I'm using is almost out. So this is definitely a repurchase. I've purchased maybe 4 or 5 of these already, and it's already in my Ulta cart. So this is something that I would highly, highly recommend. I purchased a few NYX products during that order as well. I ended up getting 2 eyeliners, one in Chartreuse and one in Periwinkle Pop. So basically I had used up the Wildcat liner from ColourPop, and I was looking for another kind of like greeny gold eyeliner, and I thought the Chartreuse one from NYX would do it, but this one is very much a kind of brighter greeny gold, and so this was not quite what I was looking for, but I do enjoy using this color. Same thing with the Periwinkle Pop. And the other NYX items that I ended up getting in that order was also the NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Mascara, and I hated this. I used it for as long as I could, but I would not recommend this. I would not repurchase it. There's still quite a bit of product left in here, but it gets so thick and gloopy that it's like unusable. So this is something that I ended up having to kind of like count as an empty or declutter early because it just became unusable. So this is not something that I would repurchase at all. I purchased 2 more items during that order, and one of them was the marula oil from The Ordinary. I am currently using this as my nighttime oil. I do have some marks down the side of it, not necessarily because this isn't a project, but because I want to know how long it takes me to use these up. I used to purchase a lot of kind of like backup skincare, not realizing how long it takes me to use up the items. So now, like, I'm not going to repurchase another face oil yet. I still have probably another 3 months left of using this. So there's no point in me going out and repurchasing a face oil and having that one sit around for months when I still have this one kind of in rotation. So I really enjoy this. I think after I'm done with this one, I'm going to go back to the rose hip seed oil from The Ordinary, but this is definitely a very nice face oil and I would recommend it, and I probably will repurchase it at some point. And then the last item that I ended up picking up in that order is the Essence Shine Lip Gloss. So this is the Extreme Shine Volume Lip Gloss, and this is in 104 Nude Mood. So this lip gloss is actually currently in my deck of panning for me to, I was going to use it for 2 months or try to see if I could finish it. That's kind of my goal on this one. I was able to scrape a lot of the stuff down, so I have about half of it left. This isn't my favorite formula, and I kind of found that it was hard for me to reach for it. That's why I put it in a project. And so this is not necessarily a formula that I would repurchase. I much prefer like the Milani glosses over the Essence glosses, but I have it in my collection, so I might as well get it used up. So this one is currently in a project. I'm drinking coffee even though it's hot and humid and raining outside, but I have my Florida mug today. I'm pre-filming this by a little bit, and so we did just have a hurricane go into the Big Bend area. We weren't affected by it. We are in a different part of Florida, but of course, anytime that a huge Category 4 hurricane hits the Panhandle or hits Florida, it is kind of devastating for the community around there. So I know the other day whenever I was on the interstate, there was a lot of like power trucks and tree trimming trucks headed that way. I know a lot of people come out of Texas whenever there's hurricanes to help clean up and get kind of power up and going. So I know they're still dealing with a lot of flooding from the storm surge. So of course, keep everybody in your thoughts that goes through the hurricane. And I was watching a weatherman this morning who said over the next week there's another big storm that's coming out through the Atlantic. So we will have to see what the next big storm brings. Hopefully, again, we will be safe from that. But of course, hurricane season is always really hard for Florida, and our storms ramp up a whole lot during September and October. So we will probably see the majority of our bigger storms over the next couple months. So, everybody goes around with like the Florida strong, and we really are, because every single time there's a big hurricane that just annihilates things, we always rebuild, we always come together as a community. So that is definitely one part of living in Florida that is pretty amazing. But let me get a sip of coffee and let me go ahead and go on to my next purchase. So my next purchase was from Amazon, and I actually picked up the AOA Studios Cleansing Balm. I did use that up last year. I'll try to pop a picture up. I know that one is like consistently sold out. I had picked up that one. I think it was recommended by maybe Jessica Braun. I decided to pick that one up because I typically use the Clinique Cleansing Balm, but I wanted to maybe find something that was a little bit less expensive. So I decided to give that one a try. I think it was only like $10 last year whenever I bought it. I don't even know how much it costs nowadays with inflation, but I flew through that cleansing balm. I felt like I needed to use more of it than I do with my Clinique. I felt like I think I went through it in like a month. And if I'm going through a $10 cleansing balm every single month, I might as well just buy, a big jumbo one of the Clinique and have it for 6 months. So, that's the other thing about tracking my items and keeping my spreadsheets that I've been mindful of, because while I might be buying a cheaper product in the beginning, I end up having to repurchase the product more. And that kind of reminds me, because my husband has a saying, and he says, buy once, cry once. And we kind of use that as a way when we're thinking about making larger purchases. So you can either buy an item once, save up the money, buy the more expensive thing, buy the thing that maybe has more quality, and buy that thing once and, sob over the amount of money that you spend and then kind of get over it. Or a lot of times if you go with a cheaper option, if it is something that will wear out sooner, if you have to repair it all the time, then the cost of that item over its lifetime actually becomes more than if you would have just bought the maybe better quality or higher price item in the first place. So when we are approaching big purchases, we would rather buy once and cry once than be fixing something and just throwing money into like a money pit the entire time. So I kind of have been trying to put my thoughts with that into my purchases, and that's kind of why I've been able to actually just bring in things that I'm actually going to use and not necessarily things that are just going to sit there and go bad. I had a lot of story times today. Apparently I needed to talk to somebody, and the camera and you guys are here. But the other item that I purchased on Amazon is the Innisfree Balancing Green Tea Toner. So this is the one that I'm using right now. The one that I bought last year, I completely used it up and it is in my empties. So this is my brand new one. Obviously I've had some use on it, but I really, really love this toner. It adds a splash of hydration to my face in the morning. So this is the actual like second step in my morning skincare routine, and I absolutely love it. I know Innisfree did some like rebranding and discontinued some products, and so I had to see what they came out with in replacement of this, because I don't believe that this one is available anymore. Everything that I can have links for, I'll have linked down below, but there might be some things that have been discontinued since last year. But this is one of my holy grail toners, and so this will definitely be a repurchase time and time again for me. My next purchase after that, it was either at a TJ Maxx or a Marshall's, and the first item that I ended up picking up is the Verb Hydrating Shampoo. As you guys can see, this one is empty. You guys would have seen this in my most recent buys and buys because I was able to use this up in August. So pretty much I was able to use this up within a year. Now, of course, it didn't take me a year to go through this. This is something that I rolled in after I used up my last shampoo. But again, if I can cycle through my products within about a year, then I'm extremely happy about that. But this was a great shampoo. I really enjoyed it. If I see any more of these at like a TJ Maxx or a Marshall's, I would definitely pick them up. Verb is relatively inexpensive, but they do show up at those discount stores from time to time. So this is something that I wouldn't necessarily seek out at full price, but I would definitely pick it up if I found it on a deal. Let's see. Then I did also pick up a couple Innisfree products, and so I ended up picking up one of the green tea serums. And this is the one that I don't even know how many videos ago I talked about this, but I mix my niacinamide and my caffeine serum from The Ordinary. I mix them with this product, and this is kind of like my daytime mix serum that I use. So this is the one from last year because I had an additional one that I went through before cracking into this one. So this one will be used up probably by November. So again, I'm using this up within about a year, year and a half of purchasing it, which again is fine by me. I do keep this in my skincare fridge so it stays, nice and fresh. It wasn't exposed to light the entire time. So this is something that I really, really love. I think this is another product that Innisfree kind of reformulated or repackaged. So this is something that, again, I was, like I said, I was in a TJ Maxx today and I was trying to, see if they had any Innisfree products, and they did not, because I would have picked up another one of those, because after I'm done with this one, I do not have a hydrating serum in backup. I'll have to either repurchase this or find something else that is cost effective for me to mix my serums into. But that's been a holy grail and a repurchase many, many times. So I was happy to find that. And then, the other Innisfree, so I ended up finding the Innisfree Hydrating Cleanser. So this is the one that I'm using right now. The one that I purchased last year is in my empties. So I did use that one up, but obviously I've gone back to it. I think this here is my third one that I've used. I do enjoy using this as my morning cleanse, and because I do use facial oils, or I do some sort of slugging at night, I want to remove as much of that as possible before I put on my daytime skincare, because I am oily, so I don't want to add to that by leaving either, the CeraVe ointment or a facial oil on my skin and then going over it with the rest of my skincare. So I do wash my face in the morning. I love this. It foams up really nice, but it's still gentle. It's hydrating, and I'm trying to think. I think I get like 8 months worth of use out of one of these. So I think I find these at TJ Maxx for like $8. So that's not a bad deal for, pretty much $1 a month for cleanser. So love this one. I constantly repurchase it. This one I'm a little bit ashamed of, and it's basically because I forgot that I had it. And so they are a pack of the Shiseido facial cottons, and I found these at a TJ Maxx for $8. But I have bought some of these smaller packs in the recent months to use because I thought I was out, when really this was in the back of my cabinet. So I don't need to buy any more. I need to crack into this one whenever I run out of my other smaller packs. And I need to remind myself that if I put things in the back of cabinets, I will forget that I own them. So shame on me. If I would have been using those instead of buying new ones, I would have been done with those already. But I mean, they're facial cottons, they're not going bad, and I will definitely get use out of them. Anytime I see those at a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls, I do like picking them up just because they are such good cottons. If you have used them before, then you definitely understand. And then let's see, the last thing that I picked up at that TJ Maxx was this e.l.f. Hydrating Booster Drops. Again, if you saw my buys and buys, I was able to use this up in August. I like to use this as a mixer for my foundations because I'm using a very matte foundation right now. I would put a couple of these drops into my foundation just to add a little bit of moisture or to thin it out a little bit. But e.l.f. does not make these anymore, and so I've used up 2 of these. And so I have to see if there is, I think the next foundation that I'm going to be using is more of a moisturizing foundation, so I shouldn't need something like this, but it'd be interesting for me to see if I can find something equivalent to this to use in the future if I need to. But I was happy to go ahead and have another item checked off my list that I was able to use up within a year. So the last item that I purchased last July, my puppy dog is just walking all over the house. You got a ball? You can go lay down in your bed with it? I understand, bro. I understand. You gotta let me finish this. I know. You got a ball. I understand. The dogs are driving me a little bit batty today. But the last purchase that I made last July was a one-off product, and it was one of the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powders. I love mixing this in with more mattifying powders just to maybe give them a little bit of a glow. I probably picked this up maybe on base whenever we went to like the BX or something like that. So I know I was needing one of these to mix with, oh, did I mix it with my Peach Perfect is what I needed this for? So I did pick up another one of these, and I have been able to use up both this powder and the Peach Perfect, and so this is an empty. Let's see. After that, this was a purchase from Amazon, and I picked up one of the Misha BB creams. This is in the shade 21. I used up one of these last year, and I don't know what I had in my head. And again, this was the mindset that I've been trying to change. But I was like, oh my God, I just ran out of it. I need to get another one because what if I want to mix it in with X, Y, and Z? And so I went and bought one, but I haven't touched this because I've been trying to use up other foundations that are older. So this does have an expiration of 2024. So I need to use this up by July of next year. So this is definitely on my radar to be mixing in with some other foundations. And I really need to push the first half of the year to get this used up so I didn't just waste money. But I really do love this product. Last year I used this up by mixing it in with my IT Cosmetics CC cream, and I really, really enjoyed that combination. Then old Pat McGrath got me again. So I think she did a re-release of some of the original Bridgerton items, and she did a re-release of the face palette, and so I did pick this up. Did I get it? I think I paid full price for this. I think I was like, oh my God, I just have to have it, so I bought it right off the site. But I mean, I do like this. I've had this in a couple projects just on some uses goals, just so I reach for it. The other day I did reach into the highlighter, which it's a beautiful pinky gold highlighter. So I do want to get more use out of this going forward, but I really do like the formula. I don't regret this purchase at all, but I don't think I would purchase any more Pat McGrath face palettes just because I have what I need in that palette right there. Let's see here. I think this next one was maybe either a Walmart or maybe I tacked this onto an Amazon order, but it is the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. This was another one where I panned one last year, and this is actually one that I was like, I will immediately start using it. And you guys can see there is a huge pan on this powder. So this powder sits in my top drawer right back there, and throughout the day whenever I need to blot, I just go ahead and I reach into this and I kind of blot my face with this. So this will be another powder. I'll probably end up using up one of these per year, and so I am definitely happy to have this, and it is a very good price, and so this is something that I will continuously repurchase even when I run out of this one. So now we are into September with my purchases, and every like beginning of September, but I think Sephora did it a little bit earlier this year and they did it in August, but they do like a 20% off foundations. And so during that time, I did pick up the Shiseido Synchro Skin Radiant Lifting Foundation. So last year I panned the more matte Synchro Skin, and then Shiseido came out with the Radiant one, and I wanted to give it a try. And so I did pick this up last September. I have used this a couple times just to make sure that it like matched with my skin and my skin did okay with it. But other than that, this has been sitting, and that disappoints me. But also, I didn't expect my current foundation to take me 8 months to use it up. But what I will do is this is the next foundation on my rotation. So after I'm done with my NARS foundation, this is the next one that I'll roll in. This is the foundation that I will use over the winter time, which is a really good time for me to use a more radiant or hydrating foundation. And so I am very excited to be dipping into this one soon and to be able to get it used up. I'm trying to think, I'll have to look back at my numbers, but I think my other Shiseido foundation took me 4 months to use. So if I can get this rolled out, by February of next year, that still sits really well with me that this did not expire or go too far out of date. So that one is one that is going to definitely be on my radar for the winter time. And then during that same order, I did pick up my birthday gift from Sephora, and then I picked the Laura Mercier one. The little mini of the powder, I used that up last year. And then this is the other little caviar stick that came with it. This is currently in my project pan, and I am using this and actually loving it. I have it on my eye look today, so I am super thrilled with this one. It's kind of like an old bronze colored, and so that's it right there. It is stunning and beautiful, and I really have enjoyed using this. So I was glad that I picked this as the birthday gift last year. So the purchase after that, I picked up a Clinique Take the Day Off Balm Jumbo. And so the one that I purchased last year, I have already used up. This is the one that I am currently using. And so this is my Holy Grail Cleansing Balm. I absolutely love it. I go back to it. I actually purchased 2 more of the jumbos already this year. So this is definitely a repurchase for me time and time again. This is coming up, or maybe it's already passed, depending on when I post this video. It's coming up in the 21 Days of Beauty for the regular size one, and I considered getting that, but I got such a good deal on my jumbos that I don't feel like I need any more. So I'm content where I'm at, but I have repurchased many of those. And then this was during the 21 Days of Beauty last year. I think Ulta had their 21 Days of Beauty more in the in September rather than in August like they're doing this year. But I picked up, Sephora matches a lot of the stuff that Ulta does in the 21 Days of Beauty. So I ended up making this purchase from Sephora, but I ended up getting the 50% off the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. And so I did purchase this last year. I used this up last year, so this is coming out of my empties, but I feel like they've changed the formula because I used to love this mascara, but it started clumping, it was dry, it would smear and smudge, like it was not like I was used to because I've used up many, many tubes of these, and so that kind of threw me off from Superhero, so this is not something I would repurchase. I would much rather repurchase the the Volume Stylist Essence Mascara for $5 is very similar to this, has a very similar brush, so I'd rather get that one than pay the 20-something dollars, because again, inflation, the 20-something dollars for this one. So, but I was able to use this up, and it is part of my empties this year. But in that Sephora order, I also picked up the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. And so this is what this one looks like on the inside. Absolutely beautiful. I love this color story, but this was part of my purchase. And I'm trying to remember, I probably ended up buying it with like birthday money. Like every every September, my husband gives me a little bit of money. He's like, you know, get whatever you want. And typically Natasha Denona releases a palette around that time. So for the past couple years, I have gotten myself Natasha palettes for my birthday. My next purchase was at Ulta because this was still during the 21 Days of Beauty, and I picked up the Billie Eilish travel size of her perfume. This was when she didn't have number 2 out yet, so this is the original one, and so I did pick up a travel size of this. I love this vanilla scent. I actually really enjoy this for mixing with some of my other perfumes where maybe the vanilla notes are kind of like lower in the formula. I spray this kind of like one spray mixing with it, and it kind of brings those vanilla notes out, and I love to use it that way. But the other 2 items that I purchased during that same trip were 2 of the Too Faced Hangover RX Bombs. So these were 50% off last year during the 21 Days of Beauty. I ended up picking up a mango one, and I picked up a banana one. So the mango one I used up earlier on this year, and the banana one I did end up using up in August. So you would have seen this in my empties. I really do like the formula of these, and I loved the banana one. And I would repurchase these if I was able to get them 50% off, but I will not purchase these at full price. So I have 2 more purchases to go over, and one of them, this was probably an Amazon purchase, but it is the Catrice True Skin Concealer. I finished this in my Project Pan, and again, you would have seen this in my empties for August, but I did not care for this concealer. It kind of broke up my foundation and lifted my foundation. It didn't really cover anything. You know, it didn't sit well under my under eyes. My like dark circles would come out at the end of the day. It just, even though a lot of people love this and it's very affordable, I wouldn't even spend the $6, $7 on it again to get it. So I'm happy this is out of my collection. I think from now on, I'm going to stick with more high-end concealers because that maybe they'll last or have the pigmentation that I like. So this was in September. And the very last purchase that I made in the third quarter of 2022 is the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. So this is what the inside of this color story is looking like. I absolutely love it with the golds and the bronze, the warm tones, the pops of blue, absolutely gorgeous. She had discontinued this, or kind of like it was sold out and we didn't know if she was going to restock it. She did like a limited restock, and that's when I grabbed this. Like I signed up for like the email notifications and got 15% off or something like that. So I was able to not at least pay full price for this, but I am super thrilled. I think this is still sold out on her website, but if you were still like dying for this color story, I know that Alter Ego has their Artemis palette that is a dupe for the Metropolis, but I was very happy to get my hands on that. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to look to see how many of these products I have been able to use up. So out of the 27 items that I purchased in the third quarter, I was able to complete 14 of them. Now, 2 of them were eyeshadow palettes, so those are not going to ever be considered completion goals. Probably this face palette is never going to be a completion goal, but I am very, very happy about the things that I was able to use up, and also the things next year that I am going to put my focus into and use up before they go bad. But I hope that these little mini reviews were helpful for you guys, because I was able to spend a whole year with a lot of these products. I was also able to use them up and repurchase them if they became holy grails. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. Of course, I have one more video coming in December to look at the fourth quarter, and then we will start again in 2024, which I can't believe it almost feels like it's right around the corner. But I want to thank you guys for joining me for this video, and I want to encourage you to do all the things. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you like this video and you like this series. Go ahead and drop me a comment down below. What was the outstanding purchase that you made in the third quarter of last year? Let me know what that product is for you. I also want to encourage you to subscribe, stick around, because I do a lot of project panning. I do conscious consumerism, I have a beauty budget, and I am actually doing a lot of videos this month preparing for Black Friday and talking about my budget. So if that seems interesting to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of my uploads. And I hope to see you guys in my next one.